Hello, I'm Savanna DeLuca of Wild Heart Therapy and Coaching, and today I'm here to talk to you about the science of self-care, a guilt-free guide to personal healing. I specialize in working with clients who seek to make lifestyle changes, remove personal barriers, and fulfill their potential. And I hope that you'll learn a little bit more about how you can bring some of those things into your life through this presentation today. And I'll also share some information at the end about how you can reach out and work with me one-on-one if that feels like something you're called to do. So today we're going to talk about the science of self-care. Why does it matter? Brain basics, so some neuroscience behind self-care, what self-care is and what it is not, practical ways to apply daily self-care to your life, to customize this just for you. We'll do a guided exercise all together, and then there will be an opportunity for Q&A in the chat. So feel free to leave any questions there for me or send comments. You also can send me an email if you have any questions following this presentation or if you're watching it recorded. I just exploded. Whoa. Have you ever found yourself saying something like this? Might not be I just exploded. It might be I can't take it anymore. I'm over it. I can't deal with this. It's too much. All of these statements are talking about situations where we have become overwhelmed. So I'm going to give you a little example here. Think of yourself as this lovely stick of dynamite, and you've got a very long wick. So there's a lot of opportunity here for you to navigate the challenges that come up, but inevitably, if you're not taking care of yourself, you may find yourself exploding. So you wake up, the start to a day where you had a good night's sleep, you're feeling like your wick is pretty long, but you realize, oh no, I missed my alarm. That takes away a little bit of your strength for the day, a little bit of your cool, calm collectedness. But you start to get ready, move about your day, and then all of a sudden you realize the kids are fussing with each other. They won't get their things ready for school, and it's making life a lot harder to get out of the house. But eventually you get there. All of a sudden on your way into work, you step in a pile of gum, and now you have gum on your shoe. It's just adding to the pressure, one thing after another. They seem small, but they're really starting to add up. Then you get off work, make it through the day. You're ready just to go home and make dinner, eat something, relax. But as you're in the supermarket, it starts raining and you have to go load the car and it's full of groceries that are wet and soggy now. And then you get home, barely anything left in you. You just want to have dinner, relax on the couch, and your partner says, ugh, chicken again? And boom, explosion. You just explode. And it's easy to blame yourself or to think, wow, I can't believe I got so upset over chicken, over what we had for dinner. But if you pay attention, there's small things that happen to us throughout our day, throughout our week, our lives, that if they're not addressed, if we're not nurturing ourselves or taking time to just process how frustrating or difficult or sad things can be, then we lose our ability to cope and we explode. So this happens when you become dysregulated. And when we are getting too much or not enough of something to keep us in balance, we just get to this tipping point and we're no longer able to manage ourselves in the best way. And it sometimes looks like crying. It can look like an angry outburst for some people, but it's also important to point out that for not everyone is there a big emotional release. Sometimes when people get too overwhelmed or things become too much, they actually implode and they just kind of shut down. They're no longer able to function. Things are just wearing on them and there's no will to do much of anything. So both of these are signs that we're getting overwhelmed, too much sensory input, not enough nurturing or rest to go with it. And the last thing I'd like to say about this piece is to just notice within yourself if you're feeling more irritable, anxious, or distracted. These are also signs of stress and that you might need a little bit of relief. You might need to give yourself a break or you're going to get to this point of explosion. So here we are going to dive into our neuroscience. The brain and the nervous system is a complex network of nerves and cells throughout the body. The brain is the headquarters or the hub of this system. So everybody, we're going to go through our hand model of our brain. So please bring your hand up here, fingers together. This is your brain. You can see my arm here, similar to the skeleton in front of you, is the brain stem, and it connects right here. This is the brain stem to the spinal cord. And this area of your brain is responsible for unconscious physical processes. So things happening here are like your breathing, your digestion, your heart rate, stuff that you don't really need to think about. Your body is deep down checking in, making sure things are going okay. Then go ahead and fold your thumb across. And now we see that our thumb connected here to our brainstem. This is our limbic system. This is the emotional response system, sometimes called the mammalian brain, where the brainstem is called the reptilian brain. And in this area, we have something called the amygdala, and this is kind of like the smoke detector of the brain. So if there's danger in sight, if it seems like something might be wrong or unsafe, this part of our brain is kicking in and saying, pay attention. And it might make us dysregulated, emotional, in a place where we need to just get out or shut down or freeze and calm to assess the situation further. And then if you go ahead and take your fingers, fold them over the top here, you can see that now we've formed what sort of looks like the brain that you can see in the figure. We've got the spinal cord coming up to the brain stem. The limbic system is inside, and wrapped over it is the cortex. And the cortex is your wise mind, where you're able to think, plan, kind of play a tape out to imagine, if I take this action, then steps 2, 3, and 4 will follow, hopefully leading to an outcome, or maybe leading to an outcome we wouldn't really look for, so we might choose to take other action. This is the part of the brain that develops last. Generally, by the time we're 25, this is developed. And this is important to keep in mind if you're working ever with young children, if you have children of your own, that they don't always have the capacity to think wisely like we do. So if you've ever said to your kiddo, what were you thinking when you did that? And they say, I don't know. And they seem very emotional. The chances that they really don't have an answer for you. They don't know why they did that. They were acting out of one of these lower parts of the brain that were emotional or instinctual. So why does this matter for us as adults? Well, because when your brain is integrated, when everything's online and working as it should be, we generally make healthy choices. We're able to be rational, calm, grounded in the present moment. But when things are dysregulated, we call this flipping your lid, or Dan Siegel has coined this term. And you can see when I flip my lid that my brain's no longer integrated. It's not all working as one unit, that this limbic system, this emotional response system, really starts to take over. This part of the brain is responsible for motivation, emotion, learning, memory. So there's a lot of things here that are important, but it's not taking us to that wise mind. This place of integration is where growth and learning happen, and that's because your brain feels safe, alert, and balanced when it's in this place. When it's here, we're usually making choices we might regret later. We're doing things just to get us to a safe place in that moment. So with self-care, self-care is the intentional care of one's mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health through everyday practices. So these practices are designed to integrate the mind again. If you're getting to a place where all of those small things have happened throughout the day, bit by bit, your lid is coming up, starting to flip, and maybe the last thing, your partner asked, why are we having the same old dinner again? And you lose it. So what we want to do is provide opportunities for you to find some self-care to calm down before you get to that place. So self-care, I want to highlight in this definition, says everyday practices. This isn't something that we wait for an annual vacation. It's not once a year. It's not splurging. You should be taking care of yourself all day long, every day, as much as possible. Now, this does not mean indulging all day long or taking constant bubble baths. This means just noticing what your body needs and finding ways to regulate and balance that system. For me personally, yoga, nature, quiet time, wearing soft, fuzzy clothes, having chocolatey desserts or hot drinks are all things that feel caring, nurturing to myself. So I know that if I'm feeling really overwhelmed, it might be nice just to take a big breath, step outside for a moment, even if that's on my porch, even if that's on a sidewalk where there's one bush. Try to go outside, walk around, soak up that environment, and then come back to whatever task is at hand. That often will be just what I need for that quick reset. What I want to point out is that what I need is not what you need. And maybe some things are overlapping. Maybe there are some things that we have in common, but self-care looks so different for everyone. For some people, self-care is really taking bubble baths, having a spa day, relaxing into a quiet space with low light. That's wonderful if you have the ability to do that, but I don't want you to keep yourself from having self-care if you don't have access to the ideal environment at all times. So self-care can be sipping a hot drink in the morning. It can be taking time to do a little self-massage at the end of the day or throughout the day, taking a few breaths, saying a word of affirmation, hope, love, peaceful, just bringing yourself moments of awareness and knowing what feels good to me. What do I feel energized after I'm done doing? If you are really into running, then maybe running is self-care for you. It's not for me, and that's okay. It's different for everyone. Do a little soul searching. Sit down and think to yourself, what brings joy to my life? What lifts me up? Where do I walk out of a room feeling restored? And maybe call the people that would be in that room with you to help you find your self care. If you're still really struggling, here's a few examples. This was a list that was compiled from a survey. So these are all personal answers here. There's a lot of unusual things and some common things. So we see aromatherapy, arts, apps, apple picking, dancing, drawing, drumming, jokes, joyful activities, reading, relaxation, Xbox, xylophone playing, all over the board here. So again, take a screenshot if that fits for you. Google it. There's a lot of opportunities for self-care. What self-care is not is something that you're doing to please other people. It's not something that you're doing because it's supposed to feel good if it doesn't feel good to you. Some of my girlfriends love to get their nails done. It feels very pampering. I don't like to sit in a salon and be around the chemicals, but to them it feels great to have someone massage their hands, to have attention and to be nurtured in that way. So just again, check in, but do not do things that feel like they're obligations that lead you to feeling resentful or to feeling more deflated after than you went in. So here's an opportunity for some application. I would like you to, first of all, take a moment to go back in your mind to a recent situation that made you feel angry. Maybe it was a conversation with a peer, a coworker, a spouse. Maybe it was somebody in line at the bank or at a red light. Think about what you felt like in that moment, the thoughts that came up. And if it feels safe and okay to you, I invite you to close your eyes or at least let them look down and away from the screen. Bring the awareness into your body. Notice, how does your body feel when you go to this place of anger? You might notice that your jaw feels clenched. Maybe you notice your shoulders are up towards your ears or your hands are making fists. There's maybe none of those things feel true for you, and that's okay. But kind of scan your body from the head, down your face, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, and keep moving all the way down to your feet. Just keep tuning in to your body. Now notice the texture of your breath. And tuning in, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your chest as you're breathing. See if you can find relaxation in any areas of the body that feel tight. Then I want you to start to relax, letting your feet feel heavy into the floor, hips resting on the seat, supporting you. Relaxing your back into the chair, couch, or wall behind you. Let yourself feel so relaxed that you almost, but not quite, fall asleep. Just notice your breathing in and out, slowing down, getting deeper. And then imagine yourself waking up from this place. Keeping your eyes closed, in your mind's eye, look up, observing the scene around you. Noticing you're in a beautiful outdoor environment, one of the most beautiful places you've ever seen. Notice the texture of the ground, air or water beneath you. What sorts of sights and sounds do you see around you? Do you observe plants or animals in this environment? How do you feel called to spend your time here? Take this opportunity to notice what comes up for you, bringing awareness to that inside voice, intuition, your heart, your gut. Maybe you feel called to sit down and just look at the sights around you. Or maybe you'd like to walk and explore, or swim or fly, depending where you find yourself. Notice the texture of the ground under your feet, and then move your gaze up the horizon, eventually looking up at the beautiful sky. Notice its colors, shapes. When you're ready, let yourself just sink into the moment. Take a few moments just to be here, relishing in this happy place. And as you feel called, bring attention back into your physical body, noticing your feet resting on the floor, your body supported by your chair, your chest filling with breath as you inhale and softening as you exhale. When you're ready, you can bring your eyes back open, up to your screen. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me today. I always enjoy talking about self-care, creating opportunities to sit, be with whatever comes up. I would like to create an opportunity for anyone who would like to ask a question to please put that in the chat. to send me an email on Facebook or send me or the email address listed here below. And thank you again for taking some time to indulge in self-care with me today.